back end I was pressing the wrong button, but it seems like everything is just fine. It's just fine. We are live at Cat Calls. Once again, I am Cat Vine, and this is my show that I do on Thursdays here at twitch.tv/KATBEIN, or, and most recently, youtube.com/CatVineTV. That's right, streaming live on 2 platforms at the same time. How do I do it? And I can drink from this glass of water at the same time. I'm a fucking magician. Anyway, I don't want to waste too much of your time because I'm really excited about getting today's guest on the line. Everyone, please give a big round of applause for today's very, very special guest, Juuku, everybody. Yeah. I know, it is extremely exciting. It is extremely exciting. You know, the best part about having your own show is that you get complete control over who the guests are and who I talk to. And often on this show, it's artists I've spoken to before, and sometimes it's artists who have just blown me away with their productions, so much so that I simply must talk to them. Juuku is one of those artists. For the past 2 years, literally every track he's released has been a banger. Like, no skips in the whole catalog, which is crazy, impressive. His music is melodic, it's gritty, it's heavy, it's textural, it's all the things that I love. It's almost like Flume, if Flume was way more into anime. Like, it's got all the Porter Robinson level shimmers, but it's clubby and it's like, it's cool. It got to a point where he was releasing track after track after track that I just loved so much, and I just kept automatically adding them to my playlists on Cat Scrolls, my newsletter, that I sat back and I was like, I gotta get this guy on Cat Calls. Like, I'm a super fan. I've got an interview show. Like, what am I waiting on? So I did. I reached out to his team and he was in, which is great because, as it turns out, he's an anonymous artist. So he'll be wearing a mask during the interview, but he's super down to go deep and get real and honest, and I'm so excited to get to know him better. He's not actually the first mask wearer to be on Cat Calls. I had Slow Magic on the show some time ago, and he wore his mask the whole time. But interestingly, Slow Magic and Juuku are buddies. Juuku features on Slow Magic's song Emotion, which came out earlier this year. Love that song. Mask for Mask, love that. Torten Strike. In spite of the mask, I know Juuku is going to be an incredible guest, and I'm really excited to get to know him better. Slow Mask Chick. Yes, all of that. Okay, so I want to share with you this mini mix that Juuku put together for his EP Lavender Dreams and Scarlet Nightmares that came out earlier this year on Dimmock. It's hard to just choose one Juuku song because, like I said, I love all of his music basically, and this has at least 3 tracks in it. It's a quick 5-minute video, but it's got a few songs off of that EP, so it's a really nice little like amuse-bouche to get you intrigued by his catalog. You should absolutely listen to that full EP. You should absolutely listen to his entire catalog, but enjoy this mini mix. When we come back, Juuku will be on the line. Have your questions ready. This is your show as much as it is my show. I'm so excited to get to know Juuku better. I'm so excited to have you here in the chat. Here is the mini mix of Lavender Dreams and Scarlet Nightmares. Please enjoy.
It's 2 a.m. Yeah. We got time we need to spend. Yeah, and I know something in you. That's why you come through. I know it ain't for you. No, I know. I know what you want. What you desire, baby girl. ice grill. Your legs still wrapped around my head in that hotel suite. The cigarette ashes on my bed, they stain the sheets. See you dancing around my room. You ain't 1,000 miles back home, but it's cool, I'll probably see you soon. Can't go to that thrift store. Out smelling sex in the dressing room. Can't hear my favorite film score without sweet nothing's played on loop. It's kinda rude, you won't let me lose. As if you ain't 1,000 miles back home, but it's cool, I'll probably see you soon. Feel free to kiss me.
I was saying, I kept thinking we were going live because the screen would black out, but you told me that that's a nice little visual trick you employ right before going into the breakdown.
Yeah. Like 2 seconds before, it's always like a little bit of black screen.
I love that.
So.
I'm a really big fan of like a snippet of silence right before a fucking like bang drop in your face too. Are you a fan of the? Yeah.
Absolutely. I think I do that almost every track, at least every other.
That's why I love it. No, okay, so we were watching the mini mix that you put together for the Lavender Dreams and Scarlet Nightmares EP, which came out earlier this year on DimMac. And you are not just a musician, you are a visual artist. So did you make all the visuals for that too? I mean, you just said that you always make it black out, so clearly you did.
Yeah. I taught myself how to 3D render around the time that I started making songs for Juuku.
Yeah.
And the project, and I taught myself Cinema 4D, and it was a huge journey trying to figure out how to make everything work, especially in the beginning. Like, all my stuff was like super dark. You couldn't see anything in my visuals. It was pretty low quality, but then I got the hang of it, and it was just a really good experience. Just because most of the music that I make, I tend to kind of visualize a world with a lot of them. So I definitely really wanted to find like a medium to express that in.
Yeah, I mean, so much incredible control for you to build the whole world of your project. Like, not only can you show people what it sounds like, but you're like, also it exists in this sort of space, and like, these are the colors that I'm thinking of. Like, to say nothing of the fact that you're just like giving yourself more work all the time.
Yeah, it is a lot of work, and it took a lot to like kind of find the rhythm to churn out as much music as I did. But I was able to figure out a system where I'd like you spend a week to make a song, and then the week after I would work on the visual, And during COVID, I pretty much released a track every 2 weeks, and then in between, I would do the visual for each track. So
Wow. That's kind of
yeah,
crazy. So you're like really linear as an artist. Like you're working on very specific projects at a time. You're not just like, I've got 7 songs I'm kind of working on. Like,
yeah. I mean, I feel like now it's a lot more. It's a lot more spread out just because I play shows and like there's other stuff
right. It's not
out of my
anymore.
life, and yeah, and we don't have lockdown, so like you're not stuck in a room 24/7. So
Fortunately or
but,
unfortunately.
yeah.
Tord and Strike wants to know, I think you mentioned, but Tord and Strike's asking Blender or Unreal Engine, or what were you using to make those effects?
I use Cinema 4D. I've
Cinema
been wanting
4D.
to learn Blender and Unreal Engine as well. Unreal Engine's pretty dope because like you can kind of like make your own video game in it too. So that's something I wanted to do. I still want to do like down the line. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely something I want to work on.
I could totally see that. Your music lends itself very well to a video game sort of universe.
Thank you.
It's got that, like, I don't know, it's got something really fun and colorful and vibrant and almost cartoony. And for me,
Yeah.
cartoony is not a bad word. Cartoony, like, I am cartoony. Like,
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad it feels that way.
yeah, your production skills, honestly, are very impressive as well. Like, I am no DAW expert, so I'm not going to sit here and talk about the ins and outs of production, but it's just, your music is so beautifully textured, and you've got all these really wonderful layers and techniques that you're using to just make it fun to listen to in the way that there's a lot going on. That's always my favorite kind of thing when artists do. But you're also very skilled at writing melodies and catchy hooks. Like, it's as gritty as it is beautiful and pretty, if that makes sense. Like,
Thank you.
yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, what is the music that inspires you? But I noticed that you've done a bajillion flips that are like full of artists that I love, like G. Jones, Madion, Porter Robinson, San Holo, like,
Yeah.
so Cashmere Cat. Like, are those some of your favorite artists? Is that why you decided to do those flips?
Yeah, actually, you pointed that out, and I didn't realize that every flip was someone I'm really inspired by. So yeah, it's pretty much everyone that I've did a flip for. A couple that haven't made the cut is like the old Kanye West was really big for me, and there was this classical artist named Sergei Rachmaninoff, and I really liked how emotional he made his music compared to other classical composers. So yeah, those two are like huge on my like bucket list. Maybe one day I'll figure out a way to do a flip with them. But yeah, those, and then G. Jones is one of my top, along with Porter, and I think those two kind of like blended my own vision for the project. And yeah.
I can totally see that, you know, like Flume was another one that you did a flip of. And when I was writing the intro and I was like, how do I describe Juuku's sound? I was like, oh, it's almost like this like in between of like Flume, but like if Flume was really into anime, like Porter Robinson or something. But I love G. Jones as a reference point as well. Not that you're an artist who should be described by, you know, comparing you to other artists, but there's something about that like precision of sound mixed with the heavy emotions like you brought up. Also, please flip Rachmaninoff. Like, that would be a crazy one. No one would expect that. That would be coming out of left field.
Trust me, I'm been trying, and I'm definitely gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll definitely do it one day. So
That's awesome.
that'll be insane, honestly.
Shout out to Joey Headset for making it. We love to see you here. Do you have a classical music background? Is that like, where is this heavily influenced by Rachmaninoff coming into play?
Yeah, so I get classically trained by my music teacher. I was going to say piano, but it started off as piano lessons, and he kind of catered his approach to teaching me to teach me music theory and things that are useful for me as a producer. So I got exposed to a lot of classical music, and also even like he's also a songwriter as well. So like he exposed me to a lot of well-written songs too. So it's really a blessing because like I feel like he was able to help tie a lot of my style together just by the experience of being able to, I guess, get classically trained, but still conscious of how popular music right now is exposed, if that makes sense.
It does. I'm laughing because Joey Headset says the next generation of parents are going to force their young kids to take DJ lessons instead of piano. I'm sure that is out there somewhere. But you're talking about currently, like you are currently being classically trained.
Yeah, I still have a teacher, and I see him on the weekends, and I pretty much try to continuously learn from him. So, yeah.
I love that. That's so awesome. I feel like people just like act like, I don't know. There's so many producers who just like don't take that time. You know, they're just kind of like, well, I never really learned. I've never had a producer tell me they're literally in music classes currently. Like, but it makes so much sense. Like, why would you just not continue learning all the time? Like,
yeah, honestly, like I feel like it helps push your sound a lot more.
Yeah.
And if for me at least, I stagnate when I don't learn things, and I continue making music that's the same and not pushing my boundaries forward. So, yeah, I feel like it's really important, at least for me, to make music or learn from others.
Yeah, totally. What are some of these well-written songs that your teacher turned you on to that made an impression?
Honestly, it's he's really into like writing pop music. So I'm not a huge fan of like pop hits and stuff like that, but like I have a lot of respect for how pop music is made and stuff. Mm-hmm. So like he would feed me a lot of like Beyonce, Ariana Grande, and like just analyze the song structure of everything. Some of them even have like crazy key changes, and like there's different ways to approach transitioning from like the verse to the pre-chorus to the chorus, and it opened the door a lot. Even though I don't write pop music, it helped me like weave into like, I guess, what's going on in modern day music, and try to find a vision for the kind of music that I make and weaving it together.
Yeah. I heard that when you first started getting into music production, you were a big fan of reverse engineering any song that you could get your hands on. Animals by Martin Garrix is one that you shouted out in the interview that I was listening to. What else were you reverse engineering, and what did that process teach you as a producer?
It taught me a lot because, well, I'll start by one of the songs I tried to reverse engineer as well. I think Language was another one, and I couldn't get it by Porter Robinson, and I could not get it for the life of me. Like Animals, like it was like perfect to the T, but Language just at the time, like I couldn't reproduce it, and obviously like Porter is the go-to producer,
right?
So
like
it was just like so tough, but I learned a lot because like I learned, that's how I learned as a human being. Like my current job, I'm a software engineer, and I didn't go to school at all for it. I just pretty much downloaded project files from this website called GitHub, where you can download pretty much project files, and I tore it apart and put it back together, and I was like, okay, I understand how this works. And that's pretty much how I approach like learning new music too. Yeah, so. What
was the first thing you pulled apart and put back together as a kid?
As a kid, it had to be like an RC car.
Yeah.
And it did not it did not end well, but that's where it started.
You're just like, this is pretty cool. What's inside this?
Yeah.
That's crazy. What were some of the other tracks that you like? I mean, that seems to me that is a very smart way to learn anything, of course. And like, even as a writer, you know, a great writing exercise is to read a piece and try to copy that author's tone or the style of the writing. And that's just a wonderful way to learn anything. Put yourself in someone else's shoes, right? But you weren't you weren't just picking the easiest tracks.
Yeah, for sure. I was like, I think at the time I started trying to copy like any Porter Robinson song, which was like back when he did like progressive house. So like I tried to do Clarity, which was pretty much produced by him, and that was pretty impossible. And I think Flicker was another one. But I was more involved as a producer at the time, so it was a little bit closer, but not quite there yet. But yeah, I actually haven't tried to do that in a while, so maybe I'll try that again with something new.
Yeah, now you're just flipping.
Yeah, exactly.
What are some of the tricks that you picked up during that time that helped you realize who you wanted to be when you're not just trying to copy somebody else? What stuck with you?
I think, what stuck with me is probably the arrangement of things, like the arrangement, song structure of music, and like how instruments are introduced and taken out, and how to create like variety in music. I think that's what stuck out with me the most, because like I don't try to like be a copy producer. Like when I make music, release music, it's all, I do my best to not make it sound like another artist, but there's still things that I learn from, based off of the artists that I really like and songs that I put together and taken out. So I learned a lot about like integrating like sound effects and ambiance and counter melodies. I think counter melodies is something that I really love doing in a lot of my music, and I learned that early on from just like picking apart like progressive house songs and putting it back together.
Yeah, explain what a counter melody is.
So you got one melody which is like let's say you have a drop and it goes a certain melody on top, right? There's a melody on top, and sometimes it sounds like there's another melody under it. So it has its own like rhythm and notes, but it still goes with the melody on top, if that makes any sense.
It does.
Yeah. So something I used to do a lot was I used to just continuously record an 8-bar loop and put as many counter melodies as I can. So like I'll play the piano for 8 bars. Once I have a good chord progression, I'll go with one melody, and then once that melody's done, I try to do another counter melody, and I just try to squeeze everything into that 8-bar loop as possible, and then I end up using a lot of it throughout the song and spreading it throughout different parts of the song, and it goes really good together because you can like mix and match. And the way I built the melody, they all pretty much go really well together. So
that's cool. Yeah. You're definitely a maximalist, I will say. When I listen to your music, it sounds like you're not, well, not in the sense that it's like too much, you know, but it is a wall of sound for sure. Like at times you use dynamics as well. Like you're not just a one note guy. So
yeah, thank you. I definitely try to like, I definitely, like you said, like I like creating that big wall of sound, but like I also love creating like delicate dynamics, and it's usually how I contrast my music. Like in the sections, it's all like pretty and like a lot of harps and strings and all this stuff, and then the drop is just like out of nowhere. It's just, you can feel it like in your face and bones and whatnot.
I want to chat with you about before you figured all this out. I know you live on the West Coast now, but New York City played a major role in your journey as a musician as well. Talk to me about your time in New York and how that shaped you. You had a different project that was not Juuku, and you didn't really quite have it all figured out yet. So enlighten me about that era and what was so special about New York.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, like before I moved to New York, I was really lost and I felt like I couldn't find myself. And I did, before I moved, I was like going to New York like every 6 months. Like I just love the energy there. And when presented with like the opportunity to transfer, I told my work, like I want to move there in like a couple months. And I moved there and I was just like absorbing the creative energy that's there.
It's
I
a
spent
lot.
most of my time. It's a lot, and I love it. I love being overwhelmed and like the feeling of being on the subway alone and just like listening to music, and I don't know, it's just a crazy experience. And then I lived in Bushwick for my first couple of years, and I lived in this apartment complex that was called the Pirate Ship, and it was just basically filled with a bunch of creatives from just like visual arts to performing arts to music or even like clothing designers and whatnot. And like I just felt like there was so much creative energy there that I was able to like, I guess, trust myself as an artist more because I was around so many people that trusted themselves as artists. So yeah, it really shaped how my energy was directed as an artist. And I don't know, in New York, you spend a lot of time. There's a lot of alone time and there's a lot of together time too. But like the alone time is like beautiful. Like you get to like see like pretty much what I consider one of the best cities in the world on your own, and like you just literally feel like this little small soul that's part of this huge melting pot of energy. And it's, I don't know, it creates, anytime I think about it, like it warms my heart a lot. So yeah.
How long were you there in total?
2015 to 2022.
Wow, you lived there for a long time.
Yeah.
You're basically a local by the end of it.
Yeah.
That's cool. What you know about Dave Rischte?
Oh my God, I love Dave Rischte.
I worked with him for years at Billboard.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
We work together every day.
Wow, Dave is a homie. I actually got a lot of advice from him in the beginning, before I became Juuku, and like he taught me a lot about like, I guess, what goes well in songs and stuff like that, and just how to like carry myself as an artist and whatnot. So yeah, definitely a great person. And that's crazy how you know him.
I know. I was listening to this interview that you did, and you said Dave Rischte, and I was like, what? He's awesome. He's great. What's some advice that Dave gave you that sticks with you that you would share with a fellow artist on the come up, maybe?
Explore as much as possible, and once you find something that you're really passionate about, and able to make, not easy but consistently, that sticks to other people, like definitely explore it and continue pressing that forward. And I think that's how I found Juuku, was because with Juuku, like I started making music that was in my feelings and focused about my feelings and trying to get that across to whoever's listening to it. And it just kept pouring out over and over and over again. And once I figured that out, like I was able to churn out more music because it was something that I was really passionate about.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the birth of Juuku. Like, you just said that you were exploring and you stumbled upon this emotional release, but like, what does that mean? What was the moment that things kind of changed and whatever project you were working on before gave way to become the Juuku project?
Yeah, honestly, like in 2018, Juuku wasn't born yet. The idea, at least early 2018, and at the time I was making like a song idea a day.
Wow.
So I would just like try. Yeah, it wouldn't be a full song, but it would be like the beginning of a song and a drop. And like I think in April or May, I just started making like all these emotional melodies that felt like it resonated with what I was going through at the time, which was like a huge amount of imposter syndrome because my current project wasn't doing good. And then on top of that, like I just felt like unhappy as an artist. I was, I guess, trying to make music that was in at the time versus music that I felt like I resonated with. And it just kept, like, it honestly just kept pouring out. And like, there was this one song that I haven't released yet that kind of like was like, oh yeah, I'm going to make a new project not called what it's called right now, but just like, I know I have this vision for this project. And I actually haven't released it yet, but it like made me cry when I was making it. And I was like, yo, this is probably something that I need to explore more. And I started exploring that avenue a lot more. And yeah, that song also kind of sparked the idea of making visuals as well, because at first I wanted to make an anime for it. Like,
sick! Yeah, like an AMV.
Yeah, like I have the storyboard and everything ready.
For like your really, own anime story.
Just for that song.
Awesome. It like a shelter kind of situation.
Yeah, and it's like literally a crazy. I think it's a really good a concept, but yeah, I tried reaching out to anime artists, and they're all really expensive.
I'm sure,
obviously, yeah, and I ended up just picking up 3D rendering from there.
That's so cool. Well, it sounds like you still have plans to one day make this happen.
Yeah, honestly, like I'm revisiting it right now and trying to see if there's anything I want to do with it. But I added a singer on it that did the song really, really well. So we'll see. I still want to like explore the concept of the anime. Like, even though I'm not a 3D artist, or I'm not an anime artist, like might be a one-off. But yeah, it's a really personal track for me. So I'm really excited to get that out one day.
You said that it made you cry when you were writing it.
Yeah.
So it obviously hits hard in the feels, and you've got a singer on it. Did you originally write it with lyrics, or is that something that you explored with the vocalist that you ended up working with?
I already envisioned a singer on it, but when I was writing it, it was without a singer. So it was just like straight instrumental, but I left so much room for the right singer to come along and grace the track and whatnot. So yeah.
That's cool. I love that the emotional release is kind of the defining element of the Juuku project for you. And that's also why you wear a mask, right? When we met yesterday for our quick practice call, you said that it was something about that vulnerability that led you to wear the mask. Would you tell us more about that?
Yeah, for sure. So when I started Juuku, the reason why I chose to be anonymous was I felt very much like this project, or making the music, was kind of like my safe space, and something that I felt like I couldn't express if people knew who I was, just because for me, growing up Asian American, it's not really doesn't look good, or it's not. It's kind of frowned upon when you show any kind of mental health issues because it's considered weak. So in my group of family and friends, like I would just pretty much put up a wall in terms of emotions and expressing it. And growing up for 18 years of that, like it was just so hard for me to like be vulnerable. And I felt like with Juuku, like I could, if it was anonymous, I could continue talking about my insecurities and like talking about things that hurt me mentally, emotionally, physically. And it really allowed me to explore that part of myself. And I don't know, right now, like I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with expressing everything. And it's crazy because like all my friends and family, like they know I'm Juuku now. So like it's, I feel like the mask has done its part. So I don't know. I've been thinking about like taking it off one day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You might take it off. I want to let you know that Tort and Strike wants you to know that your openness is appreciated. And I am glad that you feel you've changed that for yourself, because it's so important to have an outlet. You shouldn't have to hold all of that in.
Yeah.
And what does your family and friends think now that they know that you're Juuku and you have all these feelings and talents?
Yeah, they're really happy about it, and honestly, like a lot of them resonated with all the struggles that I went through. I think a lot of people that are close to me, like went through the same stuff or something similar, at least, because everyone's going through something. So I feel like I'm able to relate more, even with people knowing. So yeah, it's definitely it was a great process for me to get my feelings across the board, and yeah, I think it might be time soon.
Might be time. We'll see. We'll stay tuned. But it's cool because you're obviously not shying away from being honest. It's so interesting to like remove the outside persona and just have the ooey gooey vulnerable inside bits. Like, I don't know, that must have been really freeing for you. And no wonder that made so much sense once you started allowing yourself to express all of that was inside. Like, no wonder you were like, oh, this is the project that I want to continue with. And seemingly others want to help you with that, you know? Like, you've been releasing on DimMac, on Moving Castle, on now Bitbird most recently. Like, all fantastic places to release music. You're finding your people, you're finding your fans. Like, how did it feel to express yourself so fully and have it be accepted by people that you don't know?
Honestly, like it felt insane because like all the labels that you listed, those are all my dream labels. Like that, and obviously Sable Valley too, which I was able to luckily release on as well.
Wow! So also on Sable Valley, that's so. These are all great. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was great because like a lot, I look up to the people who own these labels, like Sound Holo, Arl Grime, and Stevie Aoki as well. Like they're all legends in their own aspect. So it's amazing to be blessed and release on their labels, especially because like I feel like there's two sides of Juuku. There's this feelsy, emotional side of Juuku, and then like I love making like trap music as well. And like it's great to see someone, a legend like Arl Grime, like the music and be down to release it on his label.
Absolutely. And I appreciate that juxtaposition of your sound as well. I think that's what I was trying to explain, right? Like, it's got all this beauty, but it also just fucking bangs. It gets pretty
Yeah.
fucking heavy, you know? There's so glitchy, like, things happening. I'm just such a fan. Such a fan. Um,
Nice. Thank you.
let's get into some of the stories here. Speaking of Moving Castle, that's where you released your Warmth album. And looking back, I think that's maybe where I was first introduced to you, because I've been paying close attention to the Moving Castle crew for a long time. Shout out Brett and everyone over there.
Yeah.
And I think that's how I was first introduced to you. But what does that Warmth album mean to you? And now that I see how much you put into your music, so much of yourself, what is the story behind that album?
Yeah, Warmth was based off of me just finding a way, ironically, finding warmth in what I saw was a cold world at the time. And I think I wrote that in the winter, during a winter in New York.
Can
Pretty
get
fitting.
quite cold.
Yeah. But yeah, that was like peak, like exploring my emotions of Juuku. Like I wrote so much music, and on top of that, there were a lot of tracks that were like the beginning of Juuku in there as well. So yeah, it was definitely an experience, and I was so glad and happy that Brett and Chris Manila Killa really liked the music and was down to release on it.
Yeah, I know that collab is fantastic as well. I love it. The one that you put out on Dim Mak this year, Lavender Dreams and Scarlet Nightmares, that's an EP, not an album. Do you distinguish
EP.
between those two things? And Warmth is an album.
They're both EPs.
They're both EPs.
In my eyes, at least. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I think that you seem like the sort of artist who it makes a difference.
Yeah. Honestly, like I always envisioned an album to be 10 tracks, so at least minimum. So
That makes sense.
I am saving, yeah, for sure. So yeah, I am saving the, I guess, album title for whenever I come up with something with 10 songs.
You've got an idea in mind for a title at least.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't. It might be, honestly, it might be self-titled. That's been something that I've been thinking about. But in terms of like a specific title, maybe if I start having a vision for what the album might be like, then I would. But
I can sense that you will one day be ready to do a proper album. You seem like an artist who's like got album artist inside.
Hell yeah. I'd love to make that. Like I love making like stories and long-winded journeys, and I feel like I did that with EPs, and I don't know, I just want to I'll be ready to like make a novel with an album.
Yeah, that would be sweet. Talk to me about Lavender Dreams and Scarlet Nightmares, because that just absolutely sounds like the sort of EP title that has something to say. That sounds like a concept if I've ever heard it.
Yeah, so it was about me exploring my synesthesia, because I realized that a lot of my visuals were either like in the tone of purple or blue, or purple or red, and I noticed, I was like, there's a lot of music when I make it, like I start seeing these colors and they end up showing in my visuals. So I started exploring to the type of songs that I was making, and a lot of like the emotional ones were like purple, and like that's Moonlight and Without You, and pretty much all my harder trappy songs were more on the red side. And the EP was just encompassing me exploring and seeing that I don't just have like really sad stories to tell and sad emotions that I had. I also had like not angry, but like more intensified versions of emotions that I loved making as well. So it pretty much encompassed the both sides of Juku that I felt like I started to become.
Okay, lots of things there that I love and want to explore more. I love that you are taking control and you're not just going to make sad emotion songs. You are a fully faceted human being who has many feelings. And I think, but it's interesting because as a creative, I think it is so easy to be inspired by that, like, sadness. And it's not fair that we should have to live in sadness to be at our best creatively. So kudos to you for starting to explore those other inspiring emotions. Can't wait to hear what an absolutely ecstatic Juku would sound like and what color that might be. But also, you're synesthetic. Or is that a word?
Yeah, I think so.
When did you figure that out? Is that something you figured out while making this EP, or have you kind of always known that?
Yeah, it was. It was when I was making the EP. I think 2 or 3 songs in, I noticed because I was making visuals with the EP at the time, with the tracks at the time, and I noticed the colors and how consistent they were in according to the type of the song they were, and I started looking at my catalog and I was like, yo, holy shit, like this track is like intense and it's got a red drop and then the fieldy ones are all purple. So I was like, yeah, I definitely want to like use that theme and try to tie things together and kind of show both sides of Juku, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and also it makes sense that you want to have control over your visuals because your music is so visual for you. Like, it would be weird if someone else was putting your visuals together and that wasn't part of the story.
Yeah, seriously.
Do you experience that synesthesia when you listen to other music that isn't your own? Now
Sometimes it's weird. Yeah, it's weird. Like, usually you're supposed to see colors in all kinds of music, I guess, but I don't know, like it just works really well with the music I make. I guess it's just my creative brain is active at the time, so like maybe it's only creating those colors while I'm creating.
Yeah.
But when I'm listening to other people's music, it happens sometimes, but not as often as when I'm making the music.
Maybe it's also something to do with your emotional connection to the music, like maybe it's going to get more intense the more that you explore it. Like, that's really fun.
Yeah.
Torn and Strike wants to know if you are I'm going to say this wrong, Ryuichi Sakamoto or Yellow Magic Orchestra fan, given all of your interests. Were you ever into, I think he recently passed away, but...
Honestly, those names sound super familiar. I would have to listen to the music to know, but I'm definitely excited to explore it.
You should explore it. Torn Strike thinks you might like it. You should check it out.
Oh yeah, I'm writing it down right now.
I'll message it to you. I was right. He did pass away earlier this year. So, I have never explored Yellow Magic Orchestra as much as I should as well. But speaking of, did you know Sam Gellatry? You're familiar with Sam Gellatry's music?
Yeah.
Sam Gellatry is also synesthetic. Also has synesthesia.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I had the chance to talk to Sam last year, a year ago, I don't know, a couple years ago, and we talked about that too. And he was like, the EP that he put out, it's what equates to 4, but there's another name for it too. But is like all about that, and there's like a lot of red and like stuff like that. And he put some visuals together for it too. And he was saying that like the album covers have the colors of the songs on them, so you should go re-explore Sam Gellatry's catalog and see if it triggers any synesthesia for you.
Oh
And
yeah,
if you
I'm definitely gonna try that out.
see if you experience any of the colors. Like, I wonder if synesthesia, like, like it must be personally color coded, right? Or like,
Yeah,
what would be red for Sam be red for you, or would your
yeah,
music be purple to Sam? I don't know. We'll have to do some sort of. We need more research done on synesthesia.
yeah, yeah,
We need more
yeah.
of
That'll
that,
be dope to find out.
right? Um, and you released this latest EP, Lavender Dreams and Scarlet Nightmares, on Dim Mak. I know that Dim Mak is excited about you. They actually dropped your name. I was chatting with some of the people from Dim Mak in March for a piece about Miami Music Week that I was writing, and they brought you to Miami, right? Did you come to Miami?
Yeah, yeah. That was dope.
What was that experience like?
It was great because it was like on the tour. I think it was the last show I did was the for the year, and we were fresh off his tour, and just ending it in Miami was like during Miami Music Week was an insane thing. Like I've never done Miami Music Week before, so it was my first Miami Music Week show, and yeah, I was really happy.
Great way to do it. So you were on tour with Steve earlier this year.
Yeah. Yeah, like I think it was like sometime around March. We started in March and then ended in April. And we hit a lot of my like dream venues. Terminal 5 was like one of my dream venues, and I was able to play it twice because he sold it out twice. And yeah, and then the Shrine in LA, and then there were a couple crazy venues in Canada that were pretty awesome too.
That's an epic experience for you to have. What an awesome opportunity.
Yeah.
What did that teach you about performing in front of crowds and stuff? Like, had you been in front of crowds of that size before? Like, that must have been kind of nuts.
Yeah, honestly, like I played a couple festivals the year before, but it was definitely different from like than like a big show venue. Like it feels a lot more locked into whoever's playing at the time, and it was just honestly like it was really great. Like I tend to love playing shows. I don't really get nervous just because it's really fun to finally like play my own music in front of people, which is like a huge dream of mine. So I'm pretty much just basking in the moment every time, just trying to give my all. So
yeah. I've never had the pleasure of seeing you perform, although obviously I very much need to. I remember that Miami Music Week was like, it's always crazy for me, and I was not able to go to the Dim Mak party, even though I really wanted to, especially realizing that you were going to be there, right? Because I'm a big fan. So I have to make that a priority in 2024, or somehow. I know it's not up to you, but if you come back this year, I will come find you for sure.
Oh yeah.
But when you perform, is it mostly your own music? Do you stay pretty true to giving people a Juuku set, or do you mix it up?
It depends on, I guess, the set. Like if it's like a festival set, and my last festival set, I did mostly my music, and then like my headline show I did as well. But if I'm like doing support for someone else, like I'll do a good amount of my music, but then also music that I resonate with at the time.
Yeah.
And like obviously, like if it's like Slow Magic, if I'm opening or doing direct support for Slow Magic, it'll be more feelsy and more like more my music. But if it's like I'm opening for Stevie Aoki, then I'll do more like energetic stuff and lean towards like the more, I guess, intense side of my project.
Yeah, you've got range. You can do it. You've got the kind of music that if you did do a set of all just your tracks, it wouldn't be one note by any means. Like you can tell. DJs always say this. It's telling a story. I'm taking you on a journey, but like you can do that, and that's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. And honestly, like I love making my sets like that too. Like I might start off like with some trappier stuff, and then like in the middle of it, you don't realize you're like in your feels with like more emotional stuff, or even like throwing in some house and B&B and stuff like that. Like
I love that.
yeah. I think my CVO set literally had everything. Like it was partially feels, partially a majority of like intense, like hard trap music, and then like I throw in the house and D&B at the end. So
That's so fun.
Yeah.
You must have so much fun.
yeah.
I'm definitely going to come find you in 2024. I can't believe it's about to be 2024. Like, that's crazy. How are you feeling about it all?
Honestly, it's crazy. Like, this year passed by so fast. Like, it's been a crazy ride. Like, from going on tour the first time, like, my first ever, like, tour for someone, and then, like, finishing the year with Countdown and releasing an EP in between and dropping on my favorite label. So it's been great. And, like, I just can't wait to, like, continue doing this next year and working on new music and pushing myself further. So
Yeah.
it'll be a fun ride.
Let's break it down. You had an incredible 2023. What was the biggest takeaway from 2023 that you're going to bring with you into 2024? Was there a lesson? Was there a memory? What are you taking with you into forever from the past 12 months and what you've experienced?
That's a really good question, honestly. I think the most important thing is to be grateful. Because throughout all this, like, I feel like I still have like imposter syndrome. Like, even like when I was like on tour, like, and playing at one of my dream venues, like I didn't feel so confident in myself as an artist as I could have been. And I'm like, I stopped myself multiple times and I'm like, yo, you're playing Terminal 5. Like, it's be happy in the moment and like, look how far you come and stuff like that. And I definitely talk to my managers about this a lot of the time, and like they help emphasize it as well. And yeah, I think just being able to be in the moment and bask in whatever it is, like even if it's not like playing at Terminal 5 and just like making a song, or even being blocked and realizing that maybe you're blocked because you're trying to push your sound to something better. Like I think just finding that gratitude in almost everything that you do so that you can live each moment to the fullest and appreciation.
That is incredibly wise advice. I'm going to take that with me too. Thank you for sharing that perspective. And, you know, I think imposter syndrome is a really tough thing to get over in general. And there's always going to be some part of us that's wondering like, what the, and I mean, especially with the like incredible milestones that you've hit this year, like you absolutely deserve it all, right? Like you're an incredibly talented individual. So you can have at least my voice in your head saying that like, yeah, no, you're doing it. And, like there's nothing accidental about it, you know? But I can totally relate to that. And I think, you know, maybe getting to a place where you feel like you don't need the mask is one of the final steps, and like just standing boldly in the spotlight of whatever the fuck it is that's going on, you know, just owning it fully. You might really appreciate that. What are you hoping for in 2024? What are you aspiring to? What are your goals? What gets you excited about it being a new year? Are you one of those people who gets excited about it being a new year? I like a fresh start or a reflective moment, but what about you?
Yeah, honestly, like I'm excited because like I do treat it as a fresh start every time. Like it feels like something brand new, and like I tend to end my years not as like emotionally happy as I was in the beginning of the year. So it kind of feels like like all the baggage from last year just gets reset, and like you also get to look at like all the shit that you've done in the past, and like it's almost, or in the past year, and like you get to be thankful for it. So that's something I really like doing. Like it just helps a lot with the emotional reset.
Yeah.
Although I feel like I should always have that throughout the year and just like be able to, I guess, not wait until the end of the year. But I don't know, there's something about the beginning of a new year that just feels really good.
Yeah, it's like I was thinking about it the other day, and I'm trying to be better about that too. Like big into planner stuff, and so
Yeah.
it's nice to like look back at the end of each month and see what you did that month. And November for me was so crazy and hectic, and I just remember being like overwhelmed all of a sudden with how much I had done. And then I was like, wait, but like almost like every month is like that at the end of the
Yeah.
day, right? And not just with like, wow, look how much I did, I'm amazing type of stuff, but just like literally how much happened in a month, whether that's with like stuff that happened with my family or travel that I did or things that I did for work or whatever. It's like, it's hard to keep all that in mind when you are living in the moment all the time. So it's nice that the new year you get to have a little moment and say, let's honor what just the fuck happened.
Yeah.
And let's go forward ready for something new.
Hell yeah.
We've got differing opinions in the chats. We've got some haters and we've got some lovers of New Year's Eve. You're going to have a great New Year's Eve. You're playing Countdown Festival.
Yeah. I'm really excited.
Yeah, talk to me about what's coming at Countdown. All right, have you created like an extra exciting set for it being New Year's or?
Yeah. I'm working on it right now, but so far it's amazing. It's probably one of my best sets yet, and I hope to finish it off just the same. And if I don't know if my stage has visuals or not. I think it does, but if it does, I'm gonna go hard on the visuals as well. And I don't know, like I said before, like I've been thinking about taking off my mask, and I don't know, been juggling with thinking of taking it off on Countdown. I feel like it would be great for like a fresh start to a fresh year. So I don't know, we'll see.
That's true.
I think it's gonna be a game time decision.
You'll just be like, how do I feel in the moment? Oh my God. That's so awesome. I hope that you have the most magical time at Countdown, no matter what happens. I can't wait. I hope I get to see you in 2024. I hope you come back to Miami because that would make it really easy for me if you just showed up here in South Florida where I live. And, mask on or off, we could have a catch up. We could see how the first few months of 2024 has gone for you. On the way out of today's interview, I'm going to play the visual and track of the music, obviously the fucking music. You had a visual for the song Still, which I really like, which is one of your more recent tracks as well. Is there anything that you want to say about that track or about any of the tracks that you've been putting out since the EP? Because you have been very busy. You are seemingly always releasing sweet new tracks, which I'm happy about, but you stay releasing.
Yeah, thank you. And Still was like one of my favorites that I wrote in the summer. It just like, I guess I felt lost. I go through bouts of like feeling lost, and I think Still, like when I was creating it, it kind of reminded me of the kind of artist that I want to be, and it was a reminder to myself that I am still that kind of artist, and that I am still really in tune with my emotions, and I can continue doing what I'm doing, I guess, and in a positive way. Usually when I like talk about my, I guess, mental health issues, like the songs are usually really sad, but like I feel like Still was just like really positive and like heartwarming, at least for me to write. And yeah, that's pretty much how I felt writing it.
Oh, I'm even happier now that I picked it because I feel like that's really sweet.
Thank you.
And you should still feel good about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Juuku, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me today and for being on the show. And thank you for all of the sweet music all year long. I've really enjoyed it. I'm waiting for the day that you put out a track and I'm just like, damn, do I add this to my playlist? Like, I'm always like, every time I'm like, I gotta add this to my playlist, but like, is it becoming too much? Is it too much?
Oh man, thank you so much for having me.
It's never too much. Yeah. Thank you so much. Can't wait to hopefully see you in 2024. Have the most fun at Countdown. Oh, and real quick, Torton Strike wants to know, do you have a favorite G. Jones track? Super quick before we let you go.
I think Ray is my favorite right now, but I think Everything All at Once was like my favorite in the beginning. It was just like, it was so freaking beautiful. Mm-hmm. Like, it was one of the most beautiful tracks I've heard, and he wasn't like really making that kind of music at the time. It was just kind of like, I think it felt kind of like an interlude in that album, but it was just like, it felt really good, and it was a great switch up, and like, I just felt like it was kind of like my theme song in New York, because it was like, I was always overwhelmed over there in the best way possible. So.
Yeah. I think we probably have the same disease where we like, stimulation. I love it. Yeah. Have you ever been to Meow Wolf in New Mexico?
No, I haven't.
Have you heard of Meow Wolf?
I have not. What
Okay, very cool. Well, this is a double whammy for you. Meow Wolf is an interactive art installation that you explore. Fun fact, it was funded by George R.R. Martin, the guy who wrote Game of Thrones.
What?
He's like from Santa Fe and gave a bunch of money to an artist collective from Santa Fe, and they bought this huge warehouse. It used to be a bowling alley. They built a house inside of it, and you explore the house, and then you can go inside like the washing machine or the refrigerator, and all of a sudden you're in this like crazy, overstimulating, colorful, crazy, like surreal place, and there's lots of different rooms to explore and like sound and visuals. It's very cool. It's also a venue that you can play shows at as an artist. So you should go check it out. A, B, I hope you get to play there one day, because I feel like you would really fuck with it. I think you would really fuck with it. But I bring it up because it can be overwhelming, and like my introverted friend who does not feel that way that you and I feel about stimulation, we were there together and she looked at me and she was like, how does this place make you feel? And I was like, I love it. She was like, I am overwhelmed.
Oh my God. That sounds like something I'd love.
You would love it. They've got another one now in Denver and one in Las Vegas. So if you ever go to Las Vegas, there's one there that's like a supermarket on the outside, and then it becomes crazy cuckoo. The Denver one I haven't been to. I don't know what it is. But it's something else. It's all something else at first, and then it becomes, whoa. But you'd like it.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna check it out. I'll probably check out the Vegas one since that's the closest.
There you go. You'll like it. The one in Santa Fe is the original. The Vegas one I went to this year, and it was very sick. You will like it.
Nice.
You let me know what you think once you've gone to Meow Wolf.
Hell yeah, I definitely would.
All right. I'm having a coughing attack right at the end, so that's beautiful timing. Juuku, thank you so much for your time again, and for all of your wonderful music. I hope I get to see you in 2024. Enjoy the hell out of your evening.
Oh, thank you. You too.
See ya. Bye. That was great. I wish that I did not have a coughing fit at the very end, but you know what? It's fine. I was sick last week. It's all good. That was so great. You know, it's funny. I knew I wanted to reach out to Juuku because I was such a fan of all of his music, but you don't know what's going to happen when it's an artist that you've never talked to, and that really all you know about them is that you love their fucking music. But so cool that he, in spite of his anonymity, is so open about his feelings and how much goes into his music. Like, I feel like when artists are anonymous, it's usually because they just want the music to speak for itself. And it was so cool the way that Juuku, like, uses his anonymity to feel free to say even more. But I'm looking forward to 2024 Juuku, where maybe the mask comes off and maybe he just owns every piece of it. And he's like, yo, this is me. I am this. Anyway, I'm going to play still. We're going to be back next Thursday. Next Thursday is the final cat calls of 2023. So, of course, we're going to have Baby Weight back on the show. So, you know that's going to be fun. And we'll be taking the piss on everything that happened this year. And we'll just get together like a couple of squirrel friends and chit-chat and put out our best intentions for 2024 as well. I love you, Torden Strike and Joey Headset. Thank you so much for being here. I know there were some other people out there watching that didn't get in the chat, but I love you too. This is Still, and we're still coming back one more week, and then it'll be a little bit of a break for the holidays, but this is Still. I hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching.
Think of you now. Just haven't. Does still think just now. Does still haven't been changed. Does still think. Does still haven't. Does still just now. Does still haven't been changed. Does still just now. Does still haven't been changed. Does still